Then you can put forests are home to many things. Every tree and every animal finds its place here, creating a delicate balance that sustains life. But are they the only ones? Do these seemingly harmless places hide something extraordinary? Even if that's the case, how can you be sure? That's where trail cams, the silent observers of the forest, come in. Today, we'll look at 20 jaw-dropping trail cam captures that leave you speechless. From Bigfoot sightings to bear fights, we've gathered the best moments captured by trail cams. Let's get started. 329,000 trail cameras are sold globally each year. So if Bigfoot really exists, you think one of those cameras would have documented the creature by now. Well, maybe one did. Watch this. The elusive Bigfoot lurking beneath the eagle's nest. Bigfoot is a mysterious creature that has sparked years of speculation worldwide. Bears, humans, and other creatures at odd angles have often been mistaken for this towering cryptid. However, the events of September 15th, 2016 would make it seem otherwise. The trail cam caught something peculiar as an adult eagle left its two baby eaglets to themselves in a live stream from the Platte River State Fish Hatchery in northern Michigan. As the two eaglets waited below the nest, a large and shadowy figure below the majestic birds kept passing from one end of the screen to the other. The bipedal silhouette began walking into the forest before it was overwhelmed. A place with such seclusion had to have a rich history of Bigfoot sightings, and this case was no different. The mysterious giant below the nest, alleged by field researcher Cliff Barrickman of the National Bigfoot Museum, could be taking advantage of the nest as a source of food, similar to what many scholars think our ancestors did. As it disappears, we question its intentions and origins. Was this, in fact, nothing more than a bear or a human found at an awkward angle? Or is it plausible to think that we have encountered the infamous Sasquatch, a mystery creature of Rio Grande Valley, a new discovery? In the depths of Texas, Benson Rio Grande Valley State Park's trail camera recorded a video that has been troubling to wildlife officers and the public. The footage shows an odd creature with a round shape and four paws walking somewhere in the depths of the night. Meanwhile, both park officials and social media users are trying to guess what it is: a new species, an escapee from the zoo, or maybe a park officer in disguise. Some guess it to be an American badger. Others consider it to be a jaguarundi, a rarely met feline who lives near the park. Although many opinions can be found, the mystery creature has not been identified yet, which makes guessing what it could be challenging. Observing the movement of such an unusual creature adds a touch of excitement and interest. It is unclear whether it is a newly known species or just an ordinary animal. What do you think might be recorded on the video? Kindly share your thoughts in the comments. Bobcat vs. timber rattlesnake, a deadly dance in New York. In the gloomy and shady recesses of a timber rattlesnake den in New York, a trail camera documents an extraordinary and thrilling confrontation. Rattlesnakes begin dragging themselves out of hibernation as spring warms the earth, but the serpentine inhabitants do not suspect something interesting will happen. A bobcat has made a brief appearance and is ready for a fight at any time. The scene shows how a bobcat cautiously approaches the den, its eyes trained on the serpentine inhabitants. The air is tense, and an air of melancholy envelops everything. At some point, the solid but hesitant steps of the feline hit the snake, with the left-hand paw now becoming the hunter's weapon. The bobcat grazes and strikes the fleeing snake, hunts for a bit of tea, and then relaxes and recharges its energy. This was not only a testament to the bobcat's talent, but also to its extremely arrogant temperament. The bobcat unceremoniously attacks one of the most terrible reptiles in nature. Even though this situation may appear like a solitary encounter with a myriad of little creatures flitting about trying to find some lunch to eat, the balance of nature is such that it is unpredictable at any time. What prompted this occurrence? Was it hunger, or was it merely an interest in nature? Watching such a delicate fight, you never know what to expect. What justifies the bobcat making a reckless decision? The opossum train, mama on the move. This trail cam footage captures a heartwarming display as a mother opossum was seen toting not one, not two, but three of her tiny babies clinging to her back. All in a single forest trail, this opossum train traveled with aplomb, turning a relatively dull day into a wild one. Observing from a distance, you would think it was a whiskered cat trotting across the yard. However, as the distance between the observer and the parade narrowed, it became easy to recognize what was being seen. A marsupial mom on a mission. With each step she took, her babies clung tightly to her, creating an amusing and slightly endearing procession of tiny tails and paws. This time, however, instead of journeying through the jungle, it was an adventure through the urban concrete, showing off the adaptability and resilience of the natural world's creatures. This brief clip is sure to lift the spirits and make people appreciate the opossum's unique parenting style. Why do you think this mother felt the need to carry such a heavy load? Is it a massive dose of motherly love, or is she just being practical to keep her babies safe? The bobcat and the midnight marauder, a trail cam tale. Deep in the quiet woods of Georgia, a trail camera caught a scene all too common in the world we live in today. A sneaky bobcat sneaks past the camera lens through the dark woods with a freshly caught rabbit hanging from its jaws. Not a sound could be heard, just the leaves slightly rustling beneath the bobcat's paws. But then, from the relentless night, two glowing orbs emerged. It took a moment, but the bobcat sensed the encroaching presence of the bright eyes and turned to meet them. The glowing lights grew larger and larger as the intruder approached with hesitant caution. What could it be? Rival predator? Opportunistic scavenger? Was the bobcat a soon-to-be meal? The mysterious protagonist wanders into a better-lit spot, allowing the camera a good view. It is a raccoon. It stands in front of the bobcat with a hint of caution in its posture. The orbs of light in its eyes reflect the infrared light off the camera. For a moment, the animals just stand there, gazing into each other through the lenses. Then, they both step away from the view of the camera. The bobcat carried off its meal to enjoy it alone in peace, while the raccoon, presumably, had left to think of a new plan of obtaining some dinner. The Alberta Sasquatch, a giant in the open. Deep in the heart of the west-central Canadian Alberta forests, something astonishing was recorded on a trail camera set to monitor wolverine behavior. The footage was released on the 17th of January 2024, rekindling the debate on whether Bigfoot is real. The video starts with a buck snapping a pic behind the tree and then, frightened, runs away. However, just as the buck runs, another giant refuses to hide. Initially, the animal is steadfast, hidden from the camera by a tree. The alleged Bigfoot then gradually walks onto the camera, making its height apparent. With a dark fur coat, Bigfoot still towers over the ground where the buck stands. With the average buck 3.5 feet tall, The animal can be estimated to be about 6 to 7 feet at the head. Bigfoot tends to fit the description of the animal, silently walking past the camera to a T. Why have so many humans reported seeing the animal? What do you think Bigfoot is? Is it real or just a foolish jape? The squirrel's great escape, a nighttime forest adventure. The stillness of a moonlit forest was interrupted by the action caught by a trail camera. An owl was sitting on a tree branch with its eyes glowing in the darkness and attentively observing the forest floor, not to miss its prey. At that time, a squirrel was busy looking for nuts, utterly unaware of the danger above. However, suddenly, the owl spread its wings and flew down silently to catch the squirrel. The moment it was about to grab the poor animal, the squirrel felt the danger too, and jumped up just slightly to escape the predator. The owl went too high, and the squirrel jumped away as if practicing for a circus show. For a couple of seconds, the owl went a bit further in the darkness, and the only evidence of the event was a couple of leaves that trembled while the forest returned to its former beauty. What do you think was in the squirrel's head at that very moment? Is it only an instinct, or did it frequently practice perilous jumps? The Catalonian forest spectre, a night of terror. It was in 2006 when their usual walk in an unknown Catalonian forest turned into an adventure that this family will never likely forget. Having descended into the thick of the forest, the atmosphere became so tense that it seemed as if the forest itself was already shrouded in what it was possible to think. The torch's light only intensified the eeriness of the happening, but then they saw it. They saw what made them all stop, hearts racing with fear and allure. When we pointed the torch that way, we could see a creature hidden among the leaves, with the lights reflected in its eyes, they said, as they recalled that night. However, the creature turned towards us when the torchlight shone in its face. Its unearthly glowing eyes and a human head, though nothing like a human's, sent shivers down the hyper-aware spines of onlookers. Whether it was a tale come to life or an entirely new kind of creature was for the two families to decide, but it mattered not. They saw the unspeakable thing, and it saw them. The fire devil of Portugal, a fiery wrath. On June 2017, the central regions of Portugal were engulfed in a scene reminiscent of the apocalypse. A rare and petrifying fire phenomenon, a fire whirl or a fire devil, rose from some wildfires. The gores of this unprecedented event have been captured on camera, showing the terrifying fire nardo twisting into the dark sky. The fires and the convection currents produced swirling ashes and flames. The fire whirl moved across the barren lands of the charred forest, leaving nothing behind but ruins, marking one of the most tragic fires in Portugal's history. While terrifying, such an event showed us the power of nature and the tragic consequences of climate change and the massive droughts we have been observing lately, leaving over 60 people dead and an entire infrastructure in ruins. It should become a warning for the rest of humanity to devise more efficient ways to prevent and control fires. A battle in the snow, bear versus wolf pack. Although it's not a trail cam video, this footage illustrates how the circumstances of wildlife are sometimes fierce in natural conditions. The bear appears powerful and purposeful, but stands alone as 5 wolves wander around it. The fight starts with a measured curiosity of wolves that try to get closer to the animal. Each of them goes around the bear at a safe distance to find an offensive angle. The bear, in its turn, is ready to resist and push away the wolf incautious enough to approach. The claws and paws leave no chance for a predator to